I'm not too sure why, but for whatever reason, people in this era seem to think that media only started receiving backlash since the inception of Twitter, completely ignoring the fact that for decades, people have been out there protesting, boycotting, making phone calls, writing angry letters, going on hunger strikes, all kind of shit for decades. This is why albums have parental advisory stickers in the first place, and this is why the ESRB even exists after the backlash that Mortal Kombat 1 got back in the day. So banned or cut content isn't a new concept, it's just not super common in hip-hop, but in this video we're going to be looking at several rap songs, music videos, performances, and artists in general that got the boot for one reason or another. Now, obviously, this list could be about 10 to 15 minutes of us talking about Kanye, but we're going into a new year, man. I just don't want to beat the dead horse. There was so much discussion about Kanye in 2022. I just don't give a fuck anymore, man. If y'all want to hear about Kanye and his controversies, watch a recap of last year and, go over there with that. But for this video, keep in mind that every situation listed didn't really result in a permanent ban, so the title may be a little bit clickbaity, so my apologies for that, but sometimes things just needed to be revised, removed, changed, apologies needed to be made or whatever, and the bans may have been lifted. So with that said, hopefully you guys learned something new, and if you don't, fuck it, we'll try again next time. Let's get it. Released on his second studio album, Karate Chop was a song by Future featuring Lil Wayne that came out in 2013. The song itself got decent spin and peaked at number 82 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song probably would have fared much better upon its debut if it wasn't marred by Wayne's need to reach as far as he could for a sexual metaphor. The line, "Beat that pussy up like Emmett Till," received a lot of backlash and public criticism from the Till family, who were understandably offended. Now, I'm sure we all know the story of Emmett Till, the very tragic story, so I won't get into that right here, but as a result of the lyrics, the song was pulled from radio stations and one station outright banned all of Lil Wayne's music. Wayne lost an endorsement deal with Mountain Dew, and he wrote a letter issuing an apology to the Till family. Epic Records, Future's distributor, also made a statement and ultimately decided to purge the original release of the song from as many internet sources as possible and re-release it with the Till line censored. So even uncensored versions of the song have that bar silenced. And sure, I know it wasn't Wayne's intent to offend anyone, but unfortunately intent doesn't always outweigh the results. So Lil Wayne makes the list again with another song he's featured on, but this is a bit of a reach because the song itself wasn't particularly banned. It was more so the visuals. On May 9th, 2011, the game tweeted out that BET was refusing to air the video because he and Wayne were too gang affiliated in it. Yeah, because we know how much gang shit wasn't in videos before this. But anyway, Game would also follow up with another tweet a little over half an hour later saying that MTV wasn't premiering the video either and that he'd just do it by himself. By this time, most people were switching over to just watching videos online via WorldStar and YouTube anyway. There was no censorship or anything of that nature to worry about. And as we all know, both channels, BET and MTV, would become defunct sources of music anyway. They probably should have embraced more videos instead of trying to uphold some sort of moral high ground about the imagery. We're back in 2013 and we're back to another song involving Future and someone saying something dumb. For clarity, You Don't Even Know is the biggest song of Rocco's career by far. Unfortunately for him, Rick Ross made it a lightning rod for controversy thanks to the line, "Put Molly all in her champagne, she ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that, she ain't even know it." This led to massive backlash and accusations of Ross glorifying pulling a Glenn Quagmire out here. Now, this ultimately led to him getting all of his music banned from the same Michigan station that banned Lil Wayne's music after the Emmett Till line. Rick Ross also lost a deal with Reebok after they were presented with a petition containing over 72,000 signatures with demands that they remove him as a spokesperson. Not only that, but a performance organized by students at Carleton University in Canada was canceled after the Student Federation of the university stated that he wasn't an artist that they could support. So Rick Ross would take to the radio that same year in an attempt to clear his name with the following statement. "I want to make sure that this is clear. Woman is the most precious gift known to man, you understand? It was a misunderstanding with the lyric, a misinterpretation where the term wasn't used. I would never use the word in my records. And as far as my camp, hip hop don't condone that, streets don't condone that, nobody condones that, you understand me? I just wanted to reach out to all the queens that's on my timeline, all the sexy ladies, the beautiful ladies that have been reaching out to me about the misunderstanding. We don't condone, I'm not with that. But of course, this continues to resurface year to year. It was really just a stupid decision to put that line out without even thinking about it. I don't know if this was the product of people in the studio with you just kind of like being yes man and telling you whatever you say is fire, but nah, that just wasn't a good look. And it sucks for Rocco most of all because it's his biggest record and he had to re-release the song without Rick Ross just to get radio play. In 2015, Action Bronson was set to perform at North by Northwest, a Toronto-based music festival, but he was pulled from performing shortly after due to a petition to ban him reaching over 37,000 signatures. The city of Toronto was heavily against his involvement after his 2011 song Consensual Rape surfaced. NXNE organizers were initially against canceling his performance, but ultimately they decided that it was best to go with what actual Toronto community members wanted. The following year, Bronson found himself in a similar scenario after his performance at George Washington University's Spring Fling was axed for the same reason. Many students condemned the artist for what they deemed misogynistic, violent, and hate-filled lyrics. An original version of the song is hard to come by in general as it was removed from many online media sources, and if you look it up now, you're likely to find a remix version of it. Now, Bronson would respond to all of the backlash himself, first by kind of cracking jokes on Twitter, but then he would go on to write an open letter on Facebook where he basically tried to add clarity by saying he was just depicting a story, no different than how a filmmaker would. Basically, it's just lyrics and not him incriminating himself personally. And he would also go on to apologize for an Instagram post that got him labeled homophobic as well. In the late 1980s, Evan Mecum, the then governor of Arizona, gained nationwide notoriety for his refusal to acknowledge Martin Luther King Day. He vowed to cancel the paid holiday and would respond to civil rights activists and members of the black community who were upset by this by saying that King doesn't deserve a holiday and followed with, "You folks don't need another holiday. What you folks need are jobs." So yeah, this guy was an absolute piece of shit. But this would lead to many rising up in protests, black performers like Stevie Wonder boycotting the state, and the literal relocation of the fucking Super Bowl that year. And Public Enemy, a group known to speak their mind on politics through their music, to record By the Time I Get to Arizona in 1991. The song wasn't released as a single, but it had a music video, and in it depicted flashbacks of the harsh aspects of the civil rights era, and what was at that point the present, a black militia gearing up to wage war on Arizona politicians. My summary doesn't do it justice, it's still a really good video and you guys should check it out when you have a sec, but to the point, MTV aired the video once and decided to never replay it again due to the imagery. The censorship led to a steep decline in their ratings for Yo MTV Raps, a show that I'll be covering on this channel soon. By the time MTV decided to lift the ban, the damage was done. But the video was condemned by Coretta Scott King since it depicted violence and Dr. King was known for his nonviolent approach. But Chuck D defended the visuals by saying that Dr. King didn't make the video, he did, and his nonviolent ways didn't prevent his death from being so brutal, so he sees nothing wrong with him theoretically exacting violent vengeance. 2014 would see the release of YG's debut album, My Crazy Life. The 6-track, Meet the Flockers, would be at the center of controversy by 2016 after the artist was accused of racism and promoting violence towards Asian Americans. The song starts with YG saying, "First you find a house and scope it out, find a Chinese neighborhood cause they don't believe in bank accounts." And obviously I'm rapping that offbeat as hell, but you get the picture. The song was directly referenced when it came to an increase in Asian-related robberies a couple years after. And by April 2021, the album was taken from streaming services amidst the anti-Asian hate campaigns. It was restored not too long after with those opening lines removed. And YouTube removed the video after receiving a lot of messages about it as well. But YG eventually re-uploaded the edited version to his channel, but the original version still exists and apparently it was uploaded by a user 8 years ago, so I guess they missed that? I don't know. But since the controversy died down, it didn't really seem to matter much anymore anyway. I guess YouTube wasn't really checking to see if it still existed or not, so whatever. But it was a big deal at the time. So those were some examples of rap songs, lyrics, and media and artists in general that were banned or canceled at one point or another, both long-term and short-term. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, just leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.